Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and I am with Charlie Anderson of DreamWorks Roofing. How you doing, Charlie?
I'm doing good, Tim. How are you, man?
I'm doing very well. We're talking about how to get more referrals with social media. I see what Charlie's doing over there, and it's working, and it's got a very warm, friendly vibe to it. So, Charlie, can you give a little bit of backstory of like where your company is and its a journey? How long have you guys been doing this? And yeah, I'll split other questions out later.
Sure. So we're DreamWorks Roofing. We've been in business. We are on our 7th year now. We're a smaller company, right? We're operating right in that $4 million range. We're hoping to hit a little higher this year, but that's right about where we should be landing for this year. But yeah, I mean, we're operating out of Central PA. We're in a small little market, nothing major, no major metropolitan area here. Where we very much have that small town vibe around us and around our company and really around our whole town here. So we really try to play into that a lot with everything that we do, from a marketing standpoint, and the way that we, project ourselves and the way we carry ourselves as a company.
So I'll just say what I see, and you can give me a little bit more behind the scenes, but I see you guys sharing other businesses, like the guy who washes trash cans, for instance.
Yes.
And a bread company. Like I see these posts randomly and they have a lot more likes and interactions and comments than most roofing companies like social media posts. So I just always kind of go, if you see it in the feed, like, and I don't have anything to do with your guys' business. So you guys are also sharing those posts onto your personal social media. Mm-hmm. So it's a good sign when I'm seeing it and I don't basically right. To get that much visibility is hard to do.
Yes. Yeah. And
what have you been doing behind the scenes that maybe I haven't been seeing? How often do you do this? Like, what is the idea?
I try to keep this as part of my weekly content calendar. So every single day I want to put out a certain piece of content, or like I have 7 pieces of content I want to put out every single week, and no matter what order they go in, but I try to do every Saturday for a small business, right? Because Small Business Saturday, it's what's that? That's the day after Black Friday, where everybody cares about small business on this certain day of the year. Why not care about small business every single week? I mean, small business employees, I just looked this stat up, but I'm pretty sure it's over 50% of the working people of the United States are employed by small business. So immediately right there, more than half of the country of all the workforce can identify with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And your work and your small business is such a huge part of your life, right? As far as me, even you, I mean, it's pretty much what identifies us. So boom, right there, you're tugging at people's heartstrings, and small business is all the rage now. It's all over Shark Tank. It's all over social media. I mean, everybody wants to start a business, side hustle, that kind of thing. The gig economy, being your own boss is the cool thing. So it's right there. It's a lot of things that are keywords that are going to light up with people right away. But what we're doing is, man, I see social media as like this window into a business, right? Not so much. It's there also to, kind of promote yourself and say, hey, here's what we do. Here's how we do it. All the traditional ways. But I also see it as like a consumer is just gets the ability to look inside of you and look inside of your company and see what your values are. And our value is community. I mean, it's one of my personal core values is community. So if I can put that out to the internet and let people see who we truly are, right? And just even by connecting with other business owners, man, it's such an underserved, like they don't get the chance to tell their story. So anytime you guys can piggyback off traffic with each other to help each other out, and it's completely free. No one's going to say no to it, So that may have been a long-winded way of answering your question.
No, yeah. How so you're doing it every Saturday, and you're kind of giving a little bit of the story of the business as well as you're kind of giving a little excerpt of their story.
Yeah.
How have you seen those companies like respond to it that you're featuring? They like it's kind of unusual.
I've never had a single person say no. Yeah. I've walked into random places and because I try to get like a selfie with the owner if I can.
Yeah.
So that way, again, you put a face to it, makes it a bit more approachable, and it's not just like an advertisement. but yeah, I mean, I haven't had a single person say no yet, especially whenever I
Are they pretty like stoked about it? Like, I feel like I would be like, if somebody walked into our business and said they wanted to do that, I would be like, that's nice, Sting. Appreciate that. And like, especially if they tagged me and then I saw all these likes and like shares and stuff like that, I would be like, thank you. Bam.
Yeah, no, like I said, not a single person has complained about it yet. I've only gotten calls and thank yous and texts and emails thanking me for just simply going out of my way to do something free for somebody and something that ultimately benefits us both.
Absolutely.
You know,
how have you seen any like referrals come from these posts from these businesses? Do these businesses ever refer you business?
Absolutely. Yeah.
After you do this?
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I mean, a lot of the people that I've worked with are like close friends of mine that also just happen to be business owners, and it has gotten me more to the top of their head. I'm obviously always there because we're friends, but there's a ramen spot down the street, just down the street from us. We could probably throw a rock to it from our office. And I've never met these guys before in my life, but I every time I probably go in there once a week. We're on a first name basis now, and I'm like, I tell every single person I go to, anytime it's cold, I'm like, go in there and get a bowl of soup. It'll make you feel so much better. You won't know that it's cold anymore. And they're like, we've literally told people that if you need a roof, just randomly, customers like they're somehow they strike up conversations about roofs with customers at a restaurant eating soup. But they've referred us out already, and we've made one post about these guys, maybe two posts about these guys.
Awesome.
But it's, a bunch of guys slinging soup somehow are finding ways to talk about roofs. I think just because they got inspired by the whole idea, perhaps.
I love it. Well, when you see somebody rooting for you, it's hard not to root for them, right?
Exactly. Just creates a community, man. Creates a network.
Yeah. Have you seen organic content on social media affect referrals from previous customers or affect word of mouth in general?
Oh, for sure. I mean, like one of the first things we do when we talk to anybody is we tell them whether they call into our office, if it's someone that we talk to passing on the street, we're like, go check out our Facebook, kind of get to know us a little bit. If you guys are ever looking for a roof, feel free to call us, but go on Facebook and, use that as your introduction to get to know who we are. Which has absolutely helped the word of mouth. We encourage customers to like our Facebook posts so we can shout them out. We can talk to our customers directly through our Facebook channel and make them feel special. We just had a lady recently who made this check for us, said that the service that we gave her was priceless. So she made this fake check and wrote priceless on it and gave it to us as a gift. So we shouted her back out, made a video about it. She'll be one of our top lead gen sources over the next 2 years. I'm sure of it.
That's amazing. Yeah. Like having raving fans, right? Like you don't need everybody. You need 1,000 raving fans or whatever. And just, they're hard to get, but you get one good one. It's like so big. So, how do you, so it sounds like it has affected your referral, you guys feed it. It's a machine, Facebook, you feed the machine and the machine feeds you. Right. It sounds like existing customers are on there and see your stuff. It's top of mind. Maybe this is Joseph Hughesism, but top of mind is tip of tongue or whatever, or whoever said that.
That's a Hughesism.
Yeah, that's a Hughesism.
Yeah.
Yes. You got to have the Hughesisms. But yeah, it's basically like being top of mind is hard, right? And top of mind to be a referral. So if anything, I want to just encourage people to use social media as a referral generator and a word of mouth. As a reminder, so people remember later that day when somebody asks if there's some problem with somebody's fascia or whatever, oh, DreamWorks just saw their thing this morning, Small Business Saturday. Those conversations come up. There's 1,000 of those conversations in your city every single week, that somebody's talking to somebody else. And if they remember you because of social media, they're much more likely to refer you.
Yeah. And I think it's a good way too, to even get in front of that ideal customer that you're trying to get, you're trying to get in front of, right? Maybe they won't see your ad on Facebook, but they certainly follow like I'm trying to think of the one business around us that's got like a small toy store, like a boutique toy store. Who shops at boutique toy stores and it's someone who's going to have a little bit of money, someone that likes to buy value, someone that likes and appreciates a small business. Right. You can go on Amazon and buy a wooden giraffe for $10, or you can go there and buy it for 40. If they're going there and now you're shouting out they're one of their favorite small businesses, I feel like it's maybe not a hack, because I can't quantify if it works or not yet, but I feel like it's almost a hack to get in front of that ideal customer that you're looking to get to.
Oh, I think content that would appeal to your ideal customer is certifiably not a hack.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we did the exact same thing. We had a high-end, sustainable, modern home builder around us, and we were doing, you know, like content, and you run out of stuff a little bit sometimes. And it's like, all right, we're gonna do like the artists in Minnesota, you know, like collectors, people we're gonna do the higher end hairstylists. We're gonna do a list of those people. We're gonna do the best restaurants in Minnetonka. That's like one of the higher end suburbs. It's like, all right, these are just it's not about us, but it's the stuff that they like and want.
Yes.
You know, we're going to be the curators, and it's just another way to get people to get that very sought after attention of those people that like that stuff.
Absolutely.
So
right.
Definitely a powerful move, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe a hack. I don't know whether or not, you know, it works though. It does work. But how do you think about your Facebook ad spend? So talk to me about Facebook ads, and how do you think about it? I know you were kind of saying you don't necessarily always get direct leads, but you do it just to get more brand awareness or something.
Yeah. So I use it as just like an outreach, right? Like a way to, like I said earlier, like I feel like Facebook is kind of like a window into your business, and the ad spend makes that window bigger, right? Obviously, if we were just to push this piece of content out as to our followers, 1,000 people would see it. But that, like, just to take from Joe Hughes, like that 5 mile famous thing, if I can let every single person within 5 miles see within this, you know, with my ad spend, making this giant window so everybody can see the wholesome nature behind us, and try and take that dirty stigma away from our roofing company, and, you know, make ourselves like a kingpin of small business in our community. I mean, this 5 mile area will take care of us for the rest of our lives. But that's kind of the way that I'm like viewing ad spend. It's, you know, that window comparison, you know, the ad spend is putting up that window for us.
That's beautiful. I think that's very smart. I think if you're doing Facebook ads that way and you get better at targeting the right people, but still and remarketing. Yeah. I think it really is worth it. I think it's tough when people want it to spit out leads they want it to spit out leads all the time. And sometimes those leads, the quality isn't as high if you're really going so lead gen with it. Sure. In my experience, I know there are people out there that are really good at it, but I haven't necessarily found them yet.
And I'm not the best at Facebook ads. Trust me. I mean, I'm not very, you know, I'm not the best at it by any means. So that's why I'm like, what am I good at? I'm good at being personable with people and telling a decent story. So let me try and double down what I'm good at. It's super
if I was
into a ramen shop and eat a delicious bowl of soup and then talk about it. So
exactly, like, and I'm good at those longer term relationship things too. Yeah. And I'm not good at the like hard sell, come on in, let's go. Yeah. So yeah, that's the same way I think about Facebook, is like, I'm like the soft long-term guy. I'm a closer too, but you know well,
certainly, I mean, when it comes time to seal the deal, you gotta flip the switch and get into it. Yeah. But you know, like you got to make a lot of friends first. That's kind of the way I see it.
Exactly. Are you sick of what passes for leads these days? What's wrong with share leads or Facebook ad leads? Yeah! Not much, unless you want to be the lowest bidder on every job. I wear a lot of hats, but search engine marketing and website, I've passed off to a Google specialized team. Okay, so how do you take a lead from digital? Let's say, like, this is a big gulp. This is a hey, can you do this? Can you take a lead from digital marketing and turn it into more deals? If you had to get more deals from each lead that came in through digital marketing, how would you do that? how do you think about that?
So first off, I'm introducing everybody to us before we ever have a chance to talk about money. That way I can start to give those warm and fuzzies before we even get started. And before we, give a price for a jaw-droppingly expensive roof, or someone wants to do a full exterior remodel and they're looking at $60,000. Well, I'm going to make you laugh a few times before that. I'm going to kind of break the ice that way. And then secondly, we're going to start to talk about referrals before the job is even over. We're going to set the expectation that like, hey, look, we're going to take such a good care of you. You're going to want your friends to experience this. You're going to want your friends to be like, you guys, I just gave $60,000 to this company, but I'm so glad that I did. And we try to set that expectation kind of up front that like, we want you to become a raving fan of our company, to kind of take from the roofing machine here. Like we tell people like, we want you to be a raving fan of our company. I think it's just about setting the expectation up front as well, and letting them know, like, you're not afraid to say, look, I'm going to go above and beyond for you. If we do a great job, who else do you know that could benefit from our service?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's funny. I want to double back for a second. You talked about the stigma of roofing companies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take 5 minutes and let's talk through this and let's end on it, if you don't mind.
Sure.
It's funny because before I got into this industry, I actually hadn't heard I hadn't heard all that, and now I hear it from roofers occasionally, like every 10th conversation with a roofer that comes up.
Yeah.
And I think I get it. There is a lot of shitty roofers out there. And technically, like I saw a stat that said, I don't know where it was. It might've been in a different country, but it said 30% of all construction is rework.
Rework. Yeah. I saw that.
I think though that is a real thing, even in other, that might've been in a different country, but that's not surprising to me.
Sure.
And you've seen a lot of poor workmanship. So there's certainly a stigma that comes from that. And then also roofers like to rip on each other sometimes. So but like, why? I hadn't heard that. And why do roofers all have that? Is that just because they see a lot of shit work? Why do roofers always talk that way?
I think it's just because we see the worst of the worst, right? You're working on the thing that nobody's realistically ever going to double check, right? Yeah. Most places in the United States, there's no inspector unless you're in Florida. Yeah. Or a few other places that are actually licensed. But yeah. PA, like we were just making a video the other day, and we were like, PA, like you hand me a check, like we're done. Like nobody ever will go up there. I could have installed paper plates on your roof for all you know, and you paid me for shingles. So I think we see some of the worst of the worst, and that worst of the worst has the biggest impact because it's so expensive to fix. Are
those paper plates at least wax coated?
They at least have the wax coating on the back.
Okay, that's solid.
This isn't like the dollar. This isn't dollar store brand. This is like the Chinette. This is the good stuff.
Yeah.
As long as you put Chinette on,
that should last for a couple of years at least.
Yeah, at least a couple of years.
Yeah,
lasts longer than Tamco's.
Yeah. So if you think like, let's imagine a world where in the next 10 years the reputation of roofing companies cleans up. Mm-hmm. Why do you think, let's say that happens. Why do you think that happened? If let's say I told you, I saw into the future and I saw that roofing companies' reputation have cleaned up. What do you think happened? If I could predict that?
I think it's because more, what's the book? The Tradesman book. I don't know why it's escaping me right now. It's literally sitting on my bookshelf over here. But there's less tradesmen running the business and more businessmen running the business, and people that are looking at the business more than a job.
You're gonna have to tell me which book that is after. I'll drop it in the description, because I think,
God, it's gonna bother me so much. It's
go look at it. I'll entertain what's that?
The E-Myth.
E-Myth. Oh, it's so good. Yes, it's basically the premise is you think you just have to be a craftsman.
The craftsman,
but
yes, the craftsman.
If you are a craftsman only and you can't zoom out and work on the business, not in the business, the business will deteriorate and you'll continually shed people because you haven't made processes, and processes are the key to not having to having a business, not a job.
Yes.
And once you create processes and even have other people help own those processes on your team. Yeah, no, that's a huge, I love the E-Myth. I'm sure most people have read it that are listening to this, but
absolutely. And I really think that the people that are going to be moving into this industry and changing the face of the roofing industry are going to be the people that have read the E-Myth and realize that they're not coming from a roofing background, perhaps. Maybe they're coming from a restaurant background, and they understand how to make a customer feel really, really special to the point where they're willing to pay $60 for something that literally costs $5.95 to make, so
I agree 100%. Just as a tandem to that, I like ending on this, zooming out 10 years or whatever. What do you think about the consolidation of the roofing industry? As I do foresee a good amount of consolidation in the next 10 years. And how do you think, because I like working with small businesses. So how do you think that's gonna all go? Because I just want to keep on working with small business. I'm cool with if a small business is 30 million bucks, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you think that's gonna play out in the roofing industry with all these people combining and doing different stuff?
So you're talking about are we gonna have a Walmart of roofing, you think?
Roll-ups and things where there's I think that there's going to be 10 of them, 20 of them, 30 of them, but I'm just saying is there room for a small business in this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think any business that requires so little capital to start up and with so much immediate gain available to you and so much immediate profit, you're always going to have a ton of small guys like the minnows that are chomping up and taking what the big guys drop. So I don't think that'll ever necessarily go away. I mean, definitely there's the conglomeration of roofing is happening though. I think there's going to be 2 or 3 Walmarts that start to take over this space. I mean, you're already starting to see it now.
I wonder, I always try to learn from everybody, in those situations too. And, just learn, for instance, getting purchased, what leads to getting purchased. I'm not trying to get purchased, but I also I think about it, they talk about EBITDA and making sure, basically it's salaries, payroll to profit kind of ratio.
Yeah.
I think it's good for us as small businesses to think about these things.
Sure.
Even if we're not basically what gets a good purchase price. I feel like it's good to look at those things, even if you don't want to get purchased, because I want to make that company and then keep it personally.
Sure. It's funny that you say, because we actually went through the process of trying to get purchased 2 years ago, right whenever COVID happened, right after COVID happened, a company approached us and tried to buy us. And it was like going to college for business finance, right? And learning all these things that I never knew, and these things that carry a ton of weight. Once you start to get into that bigger ballpark with all these big players, you need to know these numbers. I didn't even know what my EBITDA was. I feel ashamed to say that, but I didn't even know, because that number never mattered to us prior to this.
What is it? Earnings before taxes, interest, depreciation,
and amortization is the
amortization.
Yes.
And it's basically if you try to summarize it, somebody will roast me in the comments or something.
I'm not smart enough to describe it, so I'm not even going to try. So nobody roasts.
But I think learning about these things as much as possible, that you don't have to want to get sold to study up of what's a desirable business to own. Yeah. Because it's all the same principles that will make your life easier too.
Sure.
It's, so I think that it's a good look into what makes a good company to sell, what makes your value go up, and then do those things even if you're not trying to get sold. That's my mindset anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all that EBITDA, man. That's what it came down to when we were working through it. It's all that EBITDA number. And that's
a trend too. So even if you did in 5 years or 10 years want to be sold to one of these conglomerates, who knows,
sure.
That there has to be the trending lines on those key things. The funny thing is I'm not trying to promote this idea. I actually I'm not trying to get people purchased out here. Like I want people that have a business. Like I want to have my business so that I can be on the board when I'm retired, dude. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm not, who knows, my mindset might change, but I don't like putting people in this mindset. Like you got to sell, you can make a profitable business that you don't have to work as much without selling. Like I don't believe everyone needs to sell to have a big, huge check mark at the end of it. And also you and I are young as shit, dude. We don't need to sell right now.
Right. I have plenty of years left in me. Like I said, I want to be, or like you said, I want to be on the board of my company someday. Just sitting back and helping to make decisions. And, I guess it's just a matter of what you determine whenever you start. Right. If you want to work this for the rest of your life and hand it to your kids, that's awesome. If you want to sell, I see nothing wrong with selling, but it's, just a matter of what you want to do and what your ultimate goal is.
It's a beautiful thought, this selling thing, but I don't know that I don't like when people act like everybody wants to sell. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like not everybody wants to sell. Maybe this is crazy to say on a podcast, but like I say I'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven.
Right. That's good. I like that.
I mean, I don't even know if it's a good mindset. All I know is it's true about me.
Yeah.
Like, I just know I'm the kind of person that wants to have more control. So even if you gave me like an insane salary and put me in a corporation, I would literally shrivel up.
Right. And that's why we ultimately turned down what was offered to us, because we could have taken Little DreamWorks and made it into these had their sights set on $100 million. But we were like, we don't want to take the creative element out of it. We don't want to take the fun, right? The fun's in the journey, not the destination, right? We're like, well, how fun is this if we just get to our destination quick, and we just miss out on all the great stuff that comes with building a business. So that's why that was a good reason why we turned it down. And then we don't have to be stuck into some corporate culture. We can hang fun art on our walls and have tattoos, and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is my activity. Like I think about when I retire and I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't even like my Sundays that much. This is messed up to say. Maybe I will once I have kids and stuff like that. But like, I want to get back to work.
Yeah, I know, man.
Maybe I'm admitting too much here. I'm admitting too much. I really like work, but whatever.
It's a blessing and a curse for sure. My wife can always tell the look on my eyes when she sees me staring into space, and she's like, "Oh God, I know what's going through what's between your ears right now."
Exactly. It's a little bit much sometimes for my wife as well.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Well, thank you so much for being on.
Of course,
man. This has been How to Get More Referrals with Social Media. Alternative title, The Friendliest Roofer Gets the Referral, because Charlie is the friendliest roofer, and
we are.
Be the friendliest roofer in your area. There's opportunity. There's opportunity to be that guy in most regions. So
more people are watching you than what you think.
Yeah, exactly. So where can people just check out your guys' stuff online?
You can find us on Facebook, obviously, like we were talking about, facebook.com/DreamWorks Exteriors. Find us on our website, YouTube, DreamWorksRoof.com, or YouTube, Facebook, DreamWorks Roofing, or YouTube, DreamWorks Roofing. And I'm sure you'll come across us somewhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And the podcast is put on by hookagency.com, Hook Agency all over social. And thank you for watching or listening. All right, bye.